here I'm going to use the value of color chart that I made. And here's my value of color chart. I'm going to, for the first drawing, I'm going to do 3 different combinations. But for this drawing, I'm going to do warm. So I'm going to stay on this side. So remember, warm colors come forward in space and cool colors go back in space. I'm using this as my starting point again. And I'm going to use warm colors to show value. So when I do my drawing, I'm looking at the grays that I see. So for example, if I see a really light gray, I'm going to do a yellow, a darker gray, a yellow orange, a darker gray, an orange, a darker gray, a red orange, a darker gray, a red, a darker gray, a red violet. And if you want, you can do only warm, or you can do warm with black and white, because no color is equivalent to black and no color is equivalent to white. This is subjective color, meaning it's not realistic, but we're learning that colors have value on their own. So you can lighten or darken colors, but they have value on their own, and you can use pure color to shade. So my first drawing is just going to be the warm. So I'm just getting ready. I have my colored pencils laid out, and I did a sketch to block in the face. Just going to move it over a little bit so you get a really good view. And I'm going to start with kind of a medium. So this is like a kind of reddish orange color, and it would be equivalent to like a medium gray. So I'm going to start blocking that color in where I see a medium gray on the drawing, and I'm sort of looking right here. So I'm just going to start blocking in colors as values. And this is just the first, very first step of the drawing. I'm just getting some color in there. Obviously, this color is not realistic, but it's something that you should learn in color theory, and it's also something that you might want to learn. So for example, like if I was making this woman into like a fire-throwing woman, I could use value of color as the color scheme. But it's also something that's important to learn and know when you're doing color drawing in regular colors or objective colors. It's something that this practice and assignment isolates the way that you see color and see color as value. So it's fun on its own, but you're also learning something that's a valuable skill that you will need to know when you're using color in your drawing. So I'm just blocking in some areas of color. It's going to take me a while. And I'm just kind of going through with a kind of medium value, which is like a red, medium dark. This is where the medium dark gray, and it's a kind of a red orange color. Again, you don't want to go too dark, right? Because it's harder to lighten it. So I'm just looking for areas. I know I'm going to use more of this. I just paused to kind of look at the drawing for a second. You can do this in any medium that you want. Colored pencil, chalk, oil pastel. I'm going to do 3 drawings in this series, and I may use different media. So I'm just looking at the shading. and I'm trying to translate the grays in the black and white image into colors. And it's going to take a while. I'm going to go with a kind of a lighter yellow orange because I see a lighter gray right here. So I'm just looking here. I was kind of working around with this color, and now I'm going to go up to this for a lighter gray. You can also leave some areas black again. I'm sorry, some areas white, and you can use black if you want. You don't have to. So I'm just blocking in colors. I haven't really done any blending yet. I'm just kind of getting base colors on the drawing. I'm going to put some up here. I'm probably going to use black on this drawing. I'm not quite sure yet, but I'm just trying to block in areas of value. Just to get started. And again, this is going to look weird. I actually like the way it looks. It's called, again, subjective color, value of color. But it's something that's important to learn, even if it's not something that you like to draw in. And some people actually do like to draw in this combination for certain drawings. But even if you're doing something totally realistically, you want to learn how to draw in this combination because it's going to help you see realistic colors and how to use them in a way that you probably won't be able to. It's just going to isolate a skill, and it'll help you see something that you may not have been able to see before. Let's put it that way. When you isolate skills and focus on them, then you kind of get really good at something, and then when you go back and do what you want to do, those skills are just going to come back to you really quickly, and they'll click in a way that they haven't before. I'm doing the hair. Again, this is a drawing that's going to be in layers. Just kind of looking at the picture and trying to get it kind of right. I just did a really quick pencil sketch before I started. And the pencil sketch used some erasing. I'm just trying to get the right shapes for the clumps of hair. And this gets a little shorter right here. Again, remember you're always erasing and revising. Just trying to make sure it's kind of like everything's kind of in the right place. before I go darker. This doesn't look quite right. So I have my pencil again. I'm just erasing some of these pencil lines and correcting. Just making that a bit of a different shape. Then I'm going to come back in here and I'm going to lighten this right here because there's kind of a highlight over here. Then I'm going to put in, going to erase again and put in okay, so now I'm going to come in with a really light yellow for a second. I do think I want to leave some of the areas white. But yellow is the lightest color in value. It's the closest to white. It's equivalent to a really light gray. I may want to get some of those pencil lines off before I finish. And I'm going to get the yellow again and come up here. So again, just to reiterate, may seem weird to you if you've never done this before, but we're doing subjective color and we're using color as value. And it's just to really get you to learn this skill really well. So I'm just kind of working around the image. I'm looking at a black and white image and I'm looking for areas of light, medium, and dark. Then I'm looking at my warm color chart and I'm putting the color next to the gray that it is to have it translate as shading with color. And I'm trying not to go too dark too soon because it's going to be harder to lighten it. I'm not really blending right now. I will later, but I'm blocking in areas of color. This is really going to help you see the lights and darks of color. Get a regular orange. I have used red orange and yellow orange, but I haven't really used a regular orange. So I don't want to just like go around the woman and not do her neck. So I'm kind of putting some shading in on her neck just to kind of keep moving around the image. Gets a little bit lighter on this end, so I'm going to come in here with some yellow orange. And Just looking for areas of light and dark and translating them into color. Again, this has a long way to go. Okay, I'm going to take a look at the eyes for a second. So the eyes are a lot darker than most areas. So I'm going to come into the eyes with some red violet. Just want to see how this looks. So on the warm, the red violet would be the darkest. And of course you can do variations. I mean, like if you want to put in a violet or a blue, but I'm just isolating areas to let you kind of focus on one aspect of color at a time. Like she would look really nice with blue eyes because it would be contrasting the orange around them, but I'm just focusing on one thing at a time. So on the warm side, red violet is the darkest color. I may use black though, because I may want to go darker than the colors that I have here. These are just kind of exercises. I mean, you may want to do a finished piece in this combination, but they're exercises to kind of help you learn different things about color, and then you'll have no problem working with color later on. Okay, I like those eyes for a start. And now I'm going to look at the bottom of the nose. So again, I'm just looking at color for different values of gray that I'm looking at in the picture. So again, we're translating a black and white to a value of color. I haven't used any pure red yet either. I will. I'm just trying to block in areas again. I'm going to look back at the hair for a second. And I'm going to come in here with the violet, the red violet, because there's some areas of the hair that are particularly dark. So I'm using the red violet for that. So it's starting to look I mean, it needs a lot of work, but you're starting to be able to see the color as portraying different values. And I'm going to go here with the purple, the red violet, the red purple. This is not as dark as I would like it to be, so I may mix later a red and violet to make it darker. But I'm just going to start out with this. I'm just kind of making a block of hair, kind of fitting it in here. And I'm going to erase this. I'm just looking for a second. That's why I'm stopping. I'm just kind of stopping and taking a look at it, seeing what I did wrong or what I need to change. And I want to come back into the lips for a second. I'm just kind of checking them out, seeing if they kind of look like the picture or are they maybe a little bit too big. So I'm kind of changing them with my pencil before I delve into color with them. I think I made them a bit too big. There, that looks a little bit better. Okay, so now I'm going to come down here, underneath. This is a dark, but it needs to be darker, so I'm actually gonna get my regular red. There, that's a little bit darker. So I'm going to use that for parts of the lips. And then I'm going to take a look up here at the shading right here. Just kind of blocking in areas of light and dark. I'm going to get the darker kind of red-orange color. Okay, so I'm looking, trying to see what I need to do. I'm going to get some yellow right here. Okay, so I'm not, like, I actually like this, but I think it would look a lot better with some black in it. When I do these types of drawings, I usually add black. It's your choice. You can do it without black and just use pure color, or with black. So I'm going to put in some black just for the darkest areas and just to define. It's warm value of color with black and white. It just helps give it that kind of defining dark that I feel like it would look much better if it had it, but you know, some people prefer not to use it. Just kind of defining the eyes. You might think that that messes it up. So, I mean, it's up to you, the way that you want to do your drawing. And I'm going to put in the pupil. Okay, now bottom. I'm going to have more black in it. I'm just kind of getting an outline right now. You could use a dark violet for this as well if you didn't want to get into the black. Okay, that's a start. And then I'm going to take a look at the lips because they're actually pretty dark compared to the rest of the drawing. Okay, that looks a little weird because it's not really totally defined. I'm going to come into the hair for a second. I know I move around, but I think that helps. I feel like I sort of messed it up with the black, but I'm going to just keep going with it. It's starting to look a bit better. Okay, so I'm going to come right under the neck with the black. Needs a lot more work. And blend the black into the colors on the neck at certain areas. And I'm going to look right here because this is pretty dark. I'm just using the black as a kind of the darkest part of the shading and kind of an outline as well. And I'm actually going to stop and restart because if the videos get too long, I can't upload them. I may do a little work in between. Okay, so I did a little bit of work on the ear and kind of blocking in some values. And now I'm going to work with I'm going to finish up the drawing in this video, and I'm going to work with some black first to put in the darks. Then I'm going to enhance the colors. But what I mean is that this would help you in your regular drawing. Is say I just did this and then I put a skin color over it. So just like a peach if she was Caucasian. These colors would show under the peach and they would also give value to the skin without using black and white. And say I wanted to put a brown over the hair, these colors would show under the brown and give value to the brown. So that's what I meant, that it could help you with objective colors, while what we're doing right now is in subjective colors. And I'm also going to do a different series on skin, but that's one way you could do shading with skin. Using color with value as the under drawing or undertone, and then putting a color over it that kind of overtakes it but lets it show through. So I'm just kind of putting in the darks with the black. I'm just doing kind of clumps of hair. And remember, I did this one in black and white as well on the portrait in black and white, and I did it on a piece of gray paper. Sometimes I repeat the same things in lessons so you can kind of see it in a different format. Okay, so I'm just kind of getting some of the hair in. I'm kind of doing chunks, and then I'm going to maybe do strands. We'll see. I'm also looking for areas that are darker, and I'm kind of shading them in with the black. Again, no color is equivalent to black. Okay, I'm going to kind of outline the face just to give it some depth. I'm going to come back into the face with another layer. I'm just kind of trying to so I'm just getting shapes for the hair. And I'm looking for areas that are lighter and darker. Kind of went in the wrong shape there, but that can be corrected later. Just getting some areas that are darker in the hair. I put in the ear. just, it still needs work. And I haven't done the kind of top, so I'm going to kind of look at that, and then I'm going to come back into the face. So she's wearing a headband, kind of outlining it first. And then I'm going to outline kind of the top hair that's above the headband. And this as well. Okay. So now the hair that's coming right out underneath the headband is darker. So I'm just making that dark right here. And it still needs a lot of work, but it's getting there. This is darker right here. Okay, and as well, there's dark up here. Okay, now the hair needs another layer, but that was kind of my first layer. I'm just going to kind of outline this. Okay, so now I'm going to come into the face, and I need to kind of make some corrections on the face. So I'm going to get, so this is pretty dark. So I'm just going to enhance the colors and maybe darken the colors that I already have here. And I'm going to come back to this color and maybe darken it a bit. And then here, I'm just putting in the lines for the under eye circles and the kind of eyelid. Okay, so I'm coming back to my red, and I'm just enhancing areas of light and dark and blending. So if I want to blend it into another color, I kind of press hard at one area, and where it goes into the other color, I sort of press lighter. This is kind of a part of the shadow that's a little bit darker. And I'm going to get my yellow orange and kind of maybe just enhance the yellow orange right here and right here. Okay. Now again, the eye is not pure white, right? So I don't want to leave it pure white. I'm going to come in here with this, maybe some of this, just kind of when it's pure white, it looks kind of weird. It looks really different from the rest of the drawing. I don't know if that looks good, but I'm going to leave that alone for now, and I'm going to come over here. I can always try to erase it if I don't like it. And put this in over here. Does that make it look, her eyes look too red? I don't know. I'm just trying to figure that out. Okay. So I'm going to come over here to this eye and again put in the eyelid. And the kind of under eye, I guess, circle or bag. And then I'm going to, actually, this side is darker, so I'm going to come in with a red-orange instead of a red. So I'm trying to differentiate between colors like I would differentiate between the grays. And blend. So to blend it, I'm lightening my touch as it goes up. And I'm going to come in, it's a little darker down here, so I'm going to come in with a red. Let's see. All right, so I'm gonna come over here because this needs to be kind of enhanced. I'm just darkening this color, pressing harder. Okay, there we go. So I need to do that for the other colors I used as well. Hold on. And let's get a yellow orange right here. And I'm going to bring that down here. And it's actually starting, I'm actually starting to like the way it looks, but it still needs a lot more. See how it's working in layers. So, I mean, it doesn't happen in just like one. I mean, of course, possibly for someone it could happen in just one sitting, but I use a lot of layers to get my drawing done. I'm going to come back here with the yellow. But it's actually starting to look, I mean, okay. Not great, but okay. Remember, I'm trying to leave maybe some areas white. I'm not quite sure about that yet. I'm going to come into my orange. And my kind of more reddish orange right here. Okay. And I'm actually going to get right in here. There's a part where it gets darker, so I'm going to bring in a little bit of pure red into that red orange. There's like a little area where it's a little bit darker, and try to blend it in. All right, I'm just kind of, give me a second, I'm kind of seeing what I need to do here. All right. So I'm going to take a look at the nose for a second. And I want to erase that pencil line right there. I don't like that. Try to get that off. Okay, good, I did. So I have like, this is a warm yellow and this is a cool yellow, or this is kind of leaning towards yellow orange. So I'm going to come right here with my cooler yellow and bring that right down here. Just enhancing this yellow orange right here. Okay, I'm just kind of looking at what I need to do here. So the bottom is quite a bit darker because it's in shadow. Oops, I made a little mistake there. All right, let me get my eraser and see if I can fix it. It's actually erasing. So I wanted it to get lighter up here, and then here it's a bit darker. Hold on. Okay, let me get the red. Alrighty. So now I'm gonna come into the lips with, I did a red, but there's some areas that are lighter. I'm putting in a red orange right here. And in here I'm gonna put a yellow because there's a highlight right here. Just making this yellow a little bit more. Then I'm going to get the lighter yellow. Okay, I'm going back to yellow orange. There's a bit of shading right here. Hopefully you get the idea. I mean, I could spend a couple hours doing this, but it's already been almost an hour. So again, I'm equating the colors I'm changing the colors into values and trying to do a value of color. Drawing, I'm using warm with black and white. And this area needs work right here. No. I'm going to go a little lighter than that. Hold on. Okay, let me get the kind of red-orange color. It still needs a lot of work. It may take up 3 videos, so I'm just trying to finish as fast as I can. Okay, I'm getting my red out again. Kind of dark kind of continues all the way down here. So the red violet should be a darker value than the one I have. That's why I got the black out, because this red violet that I have is not very dark. It's pretty light. And I'm using, again, I have just a collection of different kinds of colored pencils from different brands, so it's not really consistent. Let me get the light yellow. And then the darker yellow. So you see how many layers that it is. If I come in, I'm going to try to press really hard with this red violet, but it's still not really dark enough as a true red violet would be. Just when I stop, I'm just kind of thinking. I'm going to put some yellow in here. Okay, the hair needs work. So I'm going to darken the colors again that I have in there. This hair is not perfect. I mean, I could go into every light and darken every strand, but that would take too long for this demo. So I'm just doing it as detailed as I possibly can for what I'm doing. I'm just trying to make it kind of, there's like, the hair is curved, so it's kind of like a sphere, and it has a generalized highlight. And then it also has strands within that generalized highlight. Okay, let me go with the yellow orange. And then the orange. to kind of blend those two together. Okay. And this one needs it too. So when it gets darker, I'm going to go with red. And then I'm going to try to make the red violet a little bit darker. Or delve into black. We'll see. Okay. I'm just taking a look over here. And over here. And then I need the orange. Okay, so now I need to look into, it still needs a lot of work. It might take one extra video. So I'm gonna look into the, I don't know. I'm thinking, should I stop here? No, I need a little bit more. So I'm gonna try this for a second. Actually, let me try this. There we go. That's more of what I wanted. See how much darker, I mean, that's a violet, not really a red violet, but see how much that's giving me a dark more than this kind of red violet pencil that I had. So that's adding a bit of cool, but I'm just going to accept it into this. It's still primarily warm. And we're at a half an hour, so I'm going to stop it and restart it. Found this darker purple, which is leaning towards cool, but I'm just going to use it anyway. It should be a dark red violet. If I really wanted to make it that, I could pull a red over it. That makes a big difference. It's what I was trying to make dark, but the violet I was using was too light. So I'm going to work with this for a minute. Just kind of enhance the areas that are supposed to be darker. Okay, let's look at this over here. this is gonna be that too. So again, you don't have to use black, you can if you want. But that really makes a difference compared to the red violet. I was going to do something to it, but this is good. It's fine. I'm not really, I mean, since there's a time limit and I've already gone over an hour, I'm not really doing every strand of hair, but you could if you wanted to spend a couple more hours on your drawing. That makes it look a lot better. So amazing what one little color can do. It's looking a lot better. Okay, so let's look at this up here. It still needs a lot of work, but I don't know how, I could go on and on, but I don't know how long I want to make this video. It still needs more. I'm just going through with the purple right now. Let's come up here with it, and I'm going to go through again with the black. I mean, I don't want to make it too long. I'm going to make it, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm not going to go over another half an hour. Okay, so I'm looking at this hair right here, and I'm going to come in with, it's darker, so I'm going to come in with the darker purple. I'm omitting some detail because I'm trying to finish fast. And then the hair right there is a bit lighter, so I'm going to get this. So I'm brightening, on that second layer I was brightening the colors because they were kind of faint, but I wanted to start out with them faint because I didn't know if I was going to make a mistake. I'm going to get my red for right here. And for right here, I'm going to go and kind of, alright, so now I need to look at this thing, the headband, because I can't leave it like that. I'm going to come right here with the purple. There's areas that are darker and lighter. And then I'm going to get this value for right here, or this color, which I'm using as a value. And it's kind of lighter over here. I'm going to go with a yellow orange over here. And maybe on top I'll do the lighter yellow. I'm kind of improvising now just because I'm trying to get it done quickly. I'm not really being too attentive to doing perfect details, because that would take me another couple hours. And where is the, okay, so this needs a little bit more darkening. Again, I mean, it's not done by a formula, or I guess this is the first time I'm saying it, so not again, it's not done by a formula. I'm just looking for areas that are darker and areas that are lighter and then adding. It's not like perfectly like scientific, but I am using color as value. So I'm going to come in with the black and really kind of try to enhance parts of the drawing, especially the hair. So hair takes quite a bit of time. And then do I want to put in strands? I don't know how it's going to look. Let me put in one and see. I don't know. I'll figure that out later. I don't know if we have time for that right now, but that's something you could do. The only thing that, like when there's highlights, it would be hard to lighten this area that I already made dark. So that's something you would have to think about beforehand. I'm kind of just looking at it in terms of clumps because of time constraints. Yeah, that black really like makes it pop out. That's why I wanted to use black and leave some areas white. Yeah. So just adding the black to just enhance some of the shading and just enhance. It's going to make the bright colors pop out more. I'm going to bring this black down a little bit just for variety. So now I know I started with the drawing, and I've said this before in other videos, but now I'm kind of just, I know it looks like the person, but I'm kind of just adding things for compositional value, which is creative license. Like, so if I think a dark needs to be popped in somewhere, I'll pop it in. So I'm not totally copying the picture perfectly. Some people wouldn't like that, but I think that's fine if you're using a photo reference, and we're using photo reference right now to learn. But even if you were doing a model and you popped in some areas of dark or light that weren't what you saw to make the drawing look better, that would be creative license, and that would be totally fine. And that ear needs a little bit of work. Okay. I'm just darkening the darks. The ear is a really dark area because it has all those crevices. Since this is curved, this dark, there's a dark on the edge, and it kind of gets lighter in the middle, and then dark on the other edge. And then there's like these deep crevices inside the ear. Okay. Let's come over here for a sec. So I'm just enhancing areas of dark. And pressing harder with the pencil. Okay. All right, let me come up top, and then I'm going to go back into the face. I have about 15 more minutes. The top is really kind of unfinished, but remember that, well, in some drawings, you want to do some areas finished, and artists do this on purpose, and leave some areas unfinished. And you want to choose those areas to make the drawing stand out. Nothing wrong with that. It's totally fine. Some people would want the whole thing completely finished, but it's something that you use as an artist for artistic license. And I kind of used it here in the hair. I didn't put in all the details in every strand. I would, but it would take me another like 5-6 hours. I can leave that. That kind of looks good undone. Right there, I'm thinking I didn't put black in here, like a second layer, but I like it like that. So now I'm just going to take a look at the face. I think the face needs a little tiny bit more work, and then we'll be done. I'm just enhancing the eyebrows. They look too like graphite pencil-y. I'm kind of maybe adding a little bit of hair to them and making them darker. Okay, now just kind of trying to make them imitate each other or symmetrical. Actually, I didn't use, hold on. Yeah, I'm going to come into the eyes with the darker purple. Still the lighter purple. I'm trying to leave it light in the middle. Okay. Now, I'm going to include a little black in some of the shading. I know I'm not using pure color, but I think it's going to enhance it a bit. Just enhancing some of the shading. Okay. I need a, I'm just thinking to myself, I'm going to use this color. I need to get a darker color right here for this. There we go. Then I'm going to come in here with the yellow. Trying to outline the eyes a little bit more. Just enhancing this kind of outline right here. Is that too dark? I'm thinking to myself, and you should always be thinking to yourself when you're drawing. Was that line too extreme? Well, there's nothing I can do about it now, but I'm going to make this outline of the eyes a bit darker. Like, I'm thinking to myself, does that make it look too cartoony, you know? And then, or too outlined instead of like real shading. I'm going to come into the lips. But I already started it, so I'm going to go ahead and finish with it. This part is really dark, so I'm just kind of enhancing that with the black. I could have done the dark purple, so maybe I'll go in there with the dark purple as well. And I'm going to put some purple on the top lip. So that the real red violet would be the red and this dark purple. I'll show you, hold on. So like, I'll do an example right here. So that's kind of violet, so that's leaning towards cool. So if I wanted to make it truly warm, I would go in there and put red with the dark purple, which would make it actually kind of looks good. A true red violet, which would be warm. So the purple is kind of on the cool side, but it still has red in it, so it just depends how much red is in it. I'm not going to go back and do that to all of them, but so you get the idea. Okay, I'm just looking for a few more mistakes or a few more things I need to correct on the face, not mistakes. Or enhance, maybe that's a good word for it. Enhance. And there's some more shading around the lips. Let me get the regular orange. She kind of has like a, I don't know, an area of shading right here. Just looking for any last minute things that may need a little bit of fixing. I could do this for hours, but I mean, I don't want to. What about right here? There's kind of some shading. Let's go a little darker right here. Hold on. See, I told you I can start looking for something and then it will just go on and on and on. I'm going to use a little, see, I can keep finding things. I'm going to put a little black right here on the nose because it's pretty dark. So this is something that you have to practice. And once you do something like this, you'll start seeing it in different drawings that you do. Even ones in regular color, and you can use it. Anyway, I think let's see. Do I want to go a little darker here? I mean, anything that I do, I could totally mess up the drawing. So just something to keep in mind when you're drawing. I think I'm actually, this needs to be a little bit darker. See, I told you I can start messing with it and never stop, but I don't want to mess it up. I mean, I think it looks okay. I don't think it looks wonderful, but I think it looks okay right now. So I don't want to do something that's going to totally mess it up. I'm just going to enhance this red a little bit. And sorry, I'm going to just enhance this color a bit. So see how many layers you could do to actually get this to be a really nice completed drawing. I'm enhancing this. I know I keep going, but just showing you the process that I would go through when I was doing this. And I could do another couple hours, but I think you kind of get the idea, so I'm going to stop it here.